What's going on, everyone? It's Adrian from Draft Time, and tonight is June 2nd, and we have a 4-game slate tonight for the NBA for FanDuel and DraftKings. And in this video, I'm going to go over our top value picks, our top studs, and our top sleeper for tonight for both FanDuel and DraftKings. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you our top lineups by using our NBA lineup optimizers, which you can access on drafttime.com. Again, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial and you could try it before you buy it. But anyways, that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So big injury news tonight. Joel Embiid is out with that small meniscus tear. So that means that Dwight Howard is likely going to get the start, which takes me to my top value pick for tonight for both FanDuel and DraftKings. And that's going to be basically the Philadelphia 76ers, namely Dwight Howard, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons. Now, Tobias and Ben Simmons are obviously going to pick up some of that scoring and that rebounding slack for Joel Embiid rather. Dwight Howard should get the start, so there is some value there, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they pull him in the fourth quarter and he only ends up playing 20 minutes on the game. So I really like the Dwight Howard fade tonight, even though he's a good value pick to still pick up in your cash games. Now, my top stud for tonight, that's going to be Russell Westbrook. He's $11,400 on DraftKings, where we're projecting him to score 64.65 fantasy points, and he's $11,500 on FanDuel, where we're projecting him to score 57.7 fantasy points. Now, as far as FanDuel is concerned, Ja Morant and Ben Simmons are going to be the two most popular point guards. Ja Morant has been killing it this whole playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if that game was a blowout. You got Utah and Memphis, closeout game in Utah. Crowd's going to be crazy. Ja Morant's due for a bad game eventually this playoffs. So I like the Ja Morant fade, and I like picking up Russell Westbrook in his place because Russell Westbrook's going to bring it. I expect a very close, high-scoring matchup between Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. The line for the Philadelphia-Washington game is 6.5 points, but I actually expect it to be a lot closer than that, especially with no Joel Embiid. Russell Westbrook's going to bring all kinds of energy to that game, so I expect it to be a close, high-scoring game between Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. Now, as far as DraftKings is concerned, Russell Westbrook, triple-double, that's almost a guarantee at this point. Now, my top sleeper pick is going to be Matisse Thybulle. He's $3,000 on DraftKings, so he's min-priced on DraftKings, and he's $4,000 on FanDuel. I like him because he's minimum priced on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he could get you blocks and steals. Another thing that you want to consider is there's not a whole lot of value at small forward today. And, the obvious sleeper pick for a lot of people might end up being Mike Scott, but I think there's a lot of value at power forward with guys like Tobias Harris, Daniel Gafford, Porzingis, Julius Randle. Those are guys that could get you pretty good value at power forward, but at the small forward position, there's not a whole lot of value there, so that's why I like Matisse Thybulle. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers go small. Dwight Howard only played 13 minutes last game, despite Joel Embiid getting hurt. As far as the Wizards are concerned, Daniel Gafford's probably going to get the start, and Robin Lopez and Len, they only played a combined 19 minutes last game. So Thybulle, he already had a 32-point game in game 2, 32 fantasy point game. He could break the slate with blocks and steals. And Doc Rivers, he swapped him and Cork Mons in and out of the lineup last game in the fourth quarter, offense, defense. But if the Sixers have a lead going to the fourth quarter, you might see a lot more Thybulle in the fourth quarter. So he's my top sleeper pick for FanDuel and DraftKings. Now, one thing you got to watch out for is the blowout between Memphis and Utah. In Utah, I talked about that earlier. The Knicks and the Hawks game should be pretty competitive, but obviously that's going to be a low-scoring game with the Knicks being one of the best defenses in the league. So the game I really like, and I talked about it earlier, is the Sixers and the Wizards. Even though the Sixers are a 6.5-point favorite, I think that game should be pretty competitive with no Joel Embiid. But anyways, with all that being said, let's go ahead and generate our top lineups for DraftKings and FanDuel using our lineup optimizer. All right, so let's go ahead and generate it for DraftKings. And for DraftKings, we got Ben Simmons, Russell Westbrook, Reggie Jackson, Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris, Rui Hachimura, and Dwight Howard. Now remember, I talked about fading Dwight Howard. I think he's more of a fade for FanDuel because on DraftKings he's only 4,300. On FanDuel, I believe he's 5,000. Let's go ahead and check out FanDuel. Now for FanDuel, you got Ja Morant, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Paul George, DeAndre Hunter, Bojan Bogdanovic, Kristaps Porzingis, Tobias Harris, and Dwight Howard. Again, I like the Ja Morant fade as well as the Dwight Howard fade. With Ja Morant, you got that blowout possibility. And for Dwight Howard, there's the strong likelihood that he doesn't play a lot of minutes and that the Sixers go small. So again, be on the lookout for those. Let me know if you have any questions